Who's your commander?
Good luck.
Equip.
Move to combat.
Resolves.
Now, before you attack
Does
me,
anyone have an answer?
well played.
Good game.
Hello everyone, my name is DJ, you're watching the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and I am so excited to talk about my first companion on this channel. I gotta admit, this is a very odd deck, but it does a lot of damage. Let's take a look at Obosh the Preypiercer. Obosh is 3 Rakdos, that means you can pay a black or a red, for a 3/5 legendary Hellion Horror. Now, the companion ability is something really interesting. Your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and lands. The companion card will be in a special companion place for Commander, so you'll still have 100 cards, but then you'll say, hey, Obosh is like my 101th card, and it's my companion. Okay, if a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. So the first thing that we can do is look at Obosh and say, do we want this as our commander or as our companion? The hoops you have to jump through to have this as your companion are substantial. You gotta build an only odd deck. Actually, that sounds like a really fun restriction. Let's do that. And actually, Obosh only doubles the damage of odd things, so we want as many odd things in our deck as possible. So it just makes sense to have it as a companion. But now, what commander? We'll talk about that. We're going to take a look at some of the creatures and spells that deal the most damage in Magic. But one thing that has the biggest effect is when you double damage. One other thing is that when you've built a deck that's entirely odd, you don't want to take every other turn off. You're like, oh, I won't do anything on turn 2. So there are 2 legendary creatures that are particularly nice with Obosh, and that's Vial Smasher the Fierce and Kervek the Merciless. Both of these deal tons of damage, and if Obosh is on the battlefield, it can just double it up. Both of them are super fun Rakdos commanders too. Of course, you could slot Obosh into a lot of different decks. I'm gonna stick to just Rakdos in this deck tech right here, but you can take some of these base ideas and add a partner to Vial Smasher and make it Grixis. Heck, run Nekusar and make it a Grixis damage dealing deck. Oh, so fun. There's a lot of different ways to deal with this companion. Now, one thing to consider is that loss of life is not damage, and so it's not doubled. So some of the coolest effects, unfortunately, are not impacted by Obosh. Grey Merchant, Painful Quandary, Bloodchief Ascension, all of this is loss of life and will not be doubled. It doesn't mean these cards don't have a home in this deck. We're going to hopefully be doing a lot of damage, and we want some of this loss of life to finish out the game. Now, before we get to talking about all of the damage you're going to be dealing, let's talk about some of the setup. When you have to play only odd cards, you don't want to take every other turn off, and you want to have something to do and a way to develop your mana, develop the board state. That's why I like cards like Wayfarer's Bauble, Expedition Map, and Bonder's Ornament. They can be deployed and then they can be activated. In fact, activated abilities are going to be really strong because it gives you something to do with extra mana, especially when you're oftentimes going to have weird costed cards in your hand. Sensei's Divining Top is always a place to put that extra mana. Brittle Effigy is a removal spell that you can play on 1 and just forget about it, and has an even costed activated ability. And then Bag of Holding is kind of like a bad Sensei's Divining Top, where you just activate it every so often and hopefully you can get some card advantage back a little bit later. One thing I really like about having an odd deck is that I'm less susceptible to tap lands than other players. Let's say I have a play on 3 and then nothing on 4 because I only have 3 and 5 drops in my hand. Then that's an easy place to play a tap land. Or play a land like Ancient Tomb and skip from 3 to 5. So Ancient Tomb, Spine Rock Knoll, cycling lands like Forgotten Cave, they're a lot better in this deck than in other versions. You can also evoke a Shriekmaw on 2, that's a good use of your mana. You can cycle away a big old creature like Yadaro. You could even use X spells. By Force is 1 CMC in my deck, even if I put 3 into X and it ends up being an even CMC on the stack. Now, let's talk about damage, particularly doubling damage. Stuffy Doll, Dictate of the Twin Gods, Angrath's Marauders. Let's say that Obosh is on the battlefield and we have a very simple damage doubler like Dictate of the Twin Gods. And then I want to do something very easy like Lava Axe your face. I don't have Lava Axe in this deck, but maybe I should. Okay, so the Lava Axe is an odd spell, so it's going to get doubled to 10. But then Dictate of the Twin Gods says, oh, you have to double that damage, so it doubles it to 20. Wait, what? That got big really fast, and that's what doubling does. It really goes out of your expectations to do way more damage than you think it could. Zozu the Punisher can punish your opponents 2 damage for every land that enters the battlefield, sometimes 4 damage. That really adds up. Anathemander is sometimes a huge hit to commander decks. We love ramping out our fancy lands. Sometimes I see players with 10 non-basics on their side of the battlefield. Anathemander can come in and with Obosh, 20 them. That can just take someone out of the game. You know, people love playing lands. They love their fancy lands. They also love drawing cards. Let's punish that too. Korvath's Fury. I'm going to refill my hand, but I'm going to deal a ton of damage for all the cards in yours. Stormbreath Dragon. This just slams in for 8 Obosh tasty damage, so big, but then activate this ability and then suddenly, waboom, tons of damage across the entire table. And then a Little Love Sword. This little guy doesn't get enough attention, but Sword of War and Peace just smashes your opponents for tons of damage. And that's what we want in this deck. Damage. Really, you can just pick your favorite creatures, and as long as they're odd, throw them in this deck. Sin Prodder is a card that I've talked about a lot, and it's a favorite of mine, and I'm going to put this in a deck where damage is doubled. Siege Gang Commander, cheap card, but this can put 5 bodies on the battlefield, start sacrificing goblins to deal 4 damage. That's a lot. And then Sir Conrad the Grim. Oh my gosh, as we start clearing boards, Sir Conrad's going to start dealing damage over and over and over again to your opponents. But you know, these aren't even the biggest spells we have. Fall of the Titans. We surge into this and suddenly, whoosh, we're dealing so much damage. Just remember, if you're playing any of these X spells like Fall of the Titans or Banefire, whatever you like, make sure that the card has an odd converted mana cost when on the stack. You can put anything you want to into X, but if you put 5 into X and the CMC ends up being 6, then Obosh will not double that damage. Ignite Memories is one of my favorite Storm cards. 4 and a red, and you have target opponent reveal a card at random from their hand, and then Ignite Memories deals them that much damage. With Obosh on the battlefield, it's gonna double that. And Storm with this just has your opponent hoping that that land they were sandbagging gets revealed every single time. But oh wait, everyone has a big spell in their hand. I like the randomness of it. It's just such a fun card. And the amount of damage it can deal with Obosh is huge. By the way, copies like Storm copies, which is what you get with Ignite Memories, do copy all values, which includes mana cost. That's just a little rules thingy for you right there. So Obosh will double the copies along with the original spell. Now let's take a look at Mirror Battlesphere, because this is the reason why I want to play this card and this companion. Mirror Battlesphere, good card, right? But if you attack with Mirror Battlesphere and you tap all 4 mirrors, then suddenly Mirror Battlesphere will deal 4 damage. Nope, double that, 8 damage to your opponent. Now it's an 8/7 and you slam in for 16 damage. That's 24 damage added up with this simple little artifact. It's so much damage. How can you avoid it? So here's how this deck plays out. your opponents are immediately afraid of you because they know that you can double a ton of damage. But they're going to assume that you are a clunky deck, only playing stuff on odd turns. But you have a surprising number of 1-drops. Hopefully you have something to commit to the battlefield, and on 2, you're either activating it or you're doing something else. You're cycling something away, you're sculpting your hand, you're doing some stuff. And then on turn 3, you have a ton of different options. Whereas a lot of people are ramping, you might have a significant play. Then, as the game goes on, you actually don't even play Obosh, because Obosh is your awesome finisher double damage cool spell. And if you play it, it's just gonna get killed immediately. So you just play the game out with your normal damage. Everyone's taking damage. You have great spells in here. You know, magic is really deep. It's not like you're playing bad spells because you can only play odd ones. But when it comes down to it and everyone else is running out of resources, you have an extra card in your hand. You have your companion. You slam that thing down and then suddenly you have your big play, but your big play is doubly big. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me, what other companions do you want to see deck techs of? I want to thank Cool Stuff Inc. because they sponsor the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel. Thank you, Cool Stuff Inc. And if you use the coupon code JUMBO5, you can get 5% off your order. And I want to thank my patrons. This is a crazy time we live in, and it is thanks to my patrons that I'm able to do anything. So thank you so much, patrons. I'm sending something exciting your way soon. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to see you all really soon. Bye-bye.